the same paragraph, I said, and Iran is the greatest national security threat we face. Russia does continue to battle us in the UN time and time again. I have clear eyes on this. I'm not going to wear rose-colored glasses when it comes to Russia or Mr. Putin, and I'm certainly not going to say to him, I'll give him more flexibility after the election. After the election, he'll get more backbone.
And we're live tonight from the post-debate spin room. We are at Lynn University right here in Boca Raton, Florida. And for more reaction to tonight's third and final presidential face-off, I am joined by former Alaska Governor, Fox News contributor, Sarah Palin. Governor, good to see you.
Thank you, Sean.
You know, that is an interesting point to me. There were a couple of things. Governor Romney didn't bring up the second one, but I would like to know when he was saying to President Medvedev, I'll have more flexibility after the election. What did he promise him? And why would he say to Nicolas Sarkozy, after he calls Bibi Netanyahu a liar, yeah, I got to deal with him every week? You know, I'd like to know, does the president have secret agreements that he hasn't revealed to the American people?
Well, there's still so many questions unanswered as to Obama's foreign policy. Why did he capitulate with Russia on the New START treaty? Why did he not go after Putin and other Russian leaders for their flagging of underwater offshore bases that have many, many minerals and energy supplies that really don't belong to Russia, and yet they're flagging them anyway, and American leaders don't do anything about it today. There were so many untruths spewed by Obama tonight. Unfortunately, Romney just didn't have time to answer them all, but certainly Obama's mannerisms today, I think, manifested lies catching up with him, thus the desperation that really came across in this debate on behalf of Obama.
That's kind of what I felt. I felt he was childish, petulant on serious issues of national security. You know, at times when he would say, well, there are some things I've learned as commander-in-chief, and I was sitting there watching this thinking, oh, thank you, Mr. Community Organizer, you know, with your vast array of experience, saying before you got elected that Iran is a tiny country, they're not a threat. It just came off as very arrogant to me. Your thoughts?
Well, very arrogant, but also so factually untrue. So many of the things that he said tonight. Obama claimed that suggested that we are more energy secure today than we've ever been. He claimed that we have better relationships with all those on an international stage, including Israel, than before he was elected. Those are not true claims. He claimed that sequestration was Congress's fault and that it won't happen. Well, sequestration was his hammer. It was a result of his lack of any kind of budget in 4 years. It was due to his adding to the national debt, and unless through fiat he decides he's not going to follow the law, he signs sequestration into law. In just a couple of months, if he's going to ignore the Constitution, then sequestration will happen, even though tonight, another untruth, he claimed that it won't happen.
You know, there wasn't as much talk as I thought there might be by President Obama, who's been out there every chance he gets spiking the football on the bin Laden issue. I would have liked to have seen Governor Romney question the president on this fact, that the very things that he opposed, and that is rendition, black sites, Gitmo, and what he called in Cairo as he went on his apology tour, enhanced interrogations, when he called it torture, we wouldn't have gotten to the courier, which led to the intelligence, which led to bin Laden, which allowed him to make that decision, because he was an outspoken critic of all of those things. I wish we would have delved into that a little more deeply tonight.
Well, so do I, but again, there just wasn't enough time, I believe, for Romney to answer all the false charges and to get all those questions answered that so many of us have of Obama. One thing that I wish that Romney could have really hammered home with Obama was, to me, it's Obama's lack of credibility as commander-in-chief, having respect for our military troops, when he would claim that he has military troops fighting and being willing to die on, quote, his behalf, unquote, and yet he's willing to throw them under the bus and withhold their paychecks until he gets his way with Congress to increase the nation's nation's debt, that he doesn't want to see convenient ways for our military troops to be able to vote in a war zone, that so many things that you would think a commander-in-chief would do to show his respect for the military, Obama does not do.
Sure.
I wish that that Governor Romney would have been able to have some more time to kind of delve into some of those issues.
Well, remember, and he also said America was arrogant when he spoke in France, that we're not a Christian nation, although we were founded on Judeo-Christian principles. And also remember that the president told our sworn enemies what our methods of enhanced interrogation were, which would then allow them to train to be able to withstand what those EITs were. And there was the issue of, you know, the new rules of engagement, which literally tied our soldiers' hands. And then remember the support of Miranda rights on the battlefield, I thought, you know, were really bad decisions for any commander-in-chief to make, especially if you're in a war, you're fighting a war, shouldn't you be fighting it to win it?
Well, there are other bad decisions with our present commander-in-chief when it comes to military funding, when it comes to, again, sequestration. A total of $1 trillion being cut from our national defense, from our military budget, which will be the result of sequestration. And again, Obama pointing the finger, blaming someone else. Neil Cavuto said tonight, paraphrasing Speaker Boehner, when Speaker Boehner heard that President Obama is blaming Congress for sequestration, the paraphrase was, "Hold on now, Sparky." In other words, no, come on now, Obama, you're going a bit too far with a lie like that. I sure wish the media would start calling Obama their eyes they have. And you saw a great example, an illustration of the choice that we have tonight. Someone who deserves to be the commander-in-chief, who is responsible, who is selfless, who has respect for other nations, does not want to get out there building other nations, but wants to allow America to be the exceptional nation again that we are, so that we can be that beacon of hope and light for other nations wishing to emulate the things that we do right. Or you can keep going down the same failed path of the Obama policies that have created these failed alliances and a more unsafe world, as Romney pointed out tonight, in these last 4 years than before Obama was elected.
I think the most dangerous aspect, and just to reiterate your point, is a president that refuses to acknowledge a war on terror. The words were banned for a long time. Fort Hood is not workplace violence. There is an ongoing war on terror. And the 14 days after what happened in Benghazi, the president still would not tell the American people the truth. But anyway, Governor, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you.
And coming up next, we're going to head back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where our own Frank Luntz is standing by with his